Once upon a time, there was an extremely hard-working farmer named Rahim who lived in a small village in the fertile province of Punjab, situated in Pakistan. Rahim had 4 sons, Akbar, Iskar, Nazar, and Babar, with Babar being the youngest among them. These 4 brothers were quite different from other children in the nearby rural areas, as they indulged in mischief and played pranks. When the neighbors became fed up with their troublesome behavior, they would complain to Rahim. However, upon Rahim's intervention, the mischievous brothers would sincerely apologize and, without wavering from their promise, mend their ways, seeking forgiveness from their neighbors. In the village, there was a primary school. Rahim enrolled all 4 of his sons there with the hope that the structured environment would instill discipline in them. However, the brothers would consistently arrive late at school, and despite numerous scoldings from the teachers, they remained unchanged in their ways. Rahim was a very compassionate person and never used harsh words with his sons. Instead, he would sit with them, trying to explain and persuade them with kindness. One day, the affectionate father said, "Dear sons, you are still very young, and you spend all your time playing. But if you don't learn to work hard at this age, you won't be capable of doing anything when you grow up." The brothers, speaking in unison, replied with great enthusiasm, "Father, don't worry. We promise to learn everything soon." However, as soon as their father agreed to give them another chance, the brothers promptly forgot their promises. They reverted to their old ways and engaged in mischief, causing trouble and chaos wherever they went. Whenever someone asked them to do any work, they would come up with various excuses, showcasing their laziness and reluctance to take responsibility. As time passed, the days, months, and years went by, and the 4 brothers grew into young adults. They never learned to read or write, nor did they contribute to their father's work on the farm. They always blamed each other for their idle talk and problems but never took responsibility for their own wrongdoings. None of them ever accepted responsibility for their bad behavior, not even once. Eventually, Rahim became a weak and old man, yet he still found himself compelled to work alone in the fields all day. This task became especially challenging for an elderly man. Faced a decrease in crop production, and along with that, a decline in wealth that they could have gained by selling the crops in the market. Rahim and his wife were deeply worried about their future. However, the 4 brothers were not concerned at all about these events. Sometimes they would go to help their father in the fields, but most of the time, they made excuses to focus on their own well-being. They spent their days idly, eating, drinking, and sleeping peacefully. Whenever someone suggested to Akbar that he should go to the fields and help his father, he would respond with excuses like, "Why should I go and help when I have a headache?" Each brother, when asked to do a task, would create a similar excuse, redirecting the work to another brother. This way, they avoided contributing to the family and focused on their own comfort. Then came a time when Rahim became so weak and ill that he was no longer able to work. He realized that he wouldn't survive for long, and it dawned on him that he hadn't equipped his sons with any skills or education to sustain themselves. Despite Rahim's shortcomings, he genuinely loved his sons and wanted to help them. The weak man started pondering deeply on what to do. After much contemplation, Rahim conceived a plan he believed could be productive. He smiled to himself and told his wife to bring all 4 brothers in front of him. Before his demise, he wanted to share his last wishes and offer some advice. Rahim's wife became distressed upon hearing this because she loved her husband dearly. Nevertheless, she summoned their 4 sons, and they sat before Rahim. Before he went to his grave, Rahim wanted to convey his last wishes and share some words of advice. He said, "Dear sons, I have loved you all my life and cared for you. I have genuinely tried to ensure your happiness and well-being. I made every effort to provide for you and protect you. But now, I am old and sick, and I know I won't survive for long. Therefore, my dear sons, I have a considerable treasure saved for you. But, unfortunately, I can't recall where it is buried. I've thought hard about what should be done for you after I'm gone. I haven't learned any skills, so how will you sustain yourselves? Despite my shortcomings, I genuinely love you and want to help you." Therefore, the poor man started thinking deeply about what to do. Long reflection, Rahim conceived a plan he believed could be productive. He smiled to himself and told his wife to bring all 4 brothers in front of him. Before his demise, he wanted to share his last wishes and offer some advice. Rahim's wife explained, "Your father told me that he dug a deep and large pit in one corner of the field. He buried the treasure in that pit with the intention that you would dig it out when the need arises. But he couldn't remember the exact location." The 4 brothers looked at each other in amazement, and yet, they were pleased with the prospect of the hidden treasure. Rahim's words about the treasure in the field had intrigued them. "Mourn my death for a while, and then you must find it," Rahim continued from his recorded words. "Before that, request your uncle, who will be the eldest in the family by then, to divide the treasure equally among you. Don't quarrel over it, and respect your elders. Remember, honoring your elders is an essential part of our tradition. You must understand the value of respecting your elders." The brothers, now with a sense of purpose, decided to dig up the treasure from the field. However, they found it challenging as they had led a lazy and comfortable life so far. The lazy and idle brothers quickly gave up, choosing to return home for rest and relaxation. The next day, and the day after that, they continued with the same pattern until the entire field was prepared. Their neighbors started admiring their hard work, but the brothers were still not ready to give up the quest for the hidden treasure. Finally, the brothers gathered and decided that they might have to dig even deeper to find the treasure. After another month of hard work, the brothers were exhausted, but none of them wanted to abandon the field where they believed the treasure was buried. In the end, the brothers realized that they needed to go even deeper to find the treasure. Despite feeling tired after months of hard work, they were determined not to give up on the field where they believed the treasure was buried. Having finally exhausted all their options, the brothers contemplated the possibility that their father had buried the treasure in an extremely deep location. Therefore, they decided to dig even deeper into the field. After months of persistent effort, the brothers were exhausted, but their determination prevailed. They didn't find the buried treasure, but their hard work had turned the entire field upside down. The brothers had earned the respect and admiration of their neighbors, who had witnessed their transformation from lazy individuals to hard-working farmers. In the next planting season, the 4 brothers decided to cultivate wheat in the well-prepared field. This time, the yield was exceptionally high. When they sold the wheat in the market, they earned a substantial amount of money. Their uncle, seeing the success of the brothers, felt proud and remarked, "Congratulations, my nephews. You have proven that you are the hard-working sons of Rahim. The field he left for you is, indeed, a treasure in itself. If you continue working diligently, you will always reap rewards." Realizing the value of hard work, the brothers continued farming and prospered. Over the years, they became wealthy and content with their work. Ultimately, it became evident that Akbar, Iskar, Nasir, and Babur had solved the mystery of the buried treasure by embracing their father's wisdom of hard work, discipline, unity,